Welcome to the Honest Health Podcast with your host, Jeffrey Burke. Honest Health brings you the brightest minds in the natural products industry, as well as athletes and entertainers. Jeff will keep you entertained and informed while educating on how to be successful on your healthy journeys. Now, here's your host, Jeffrey Burke.
Hello and welcome back to the Honest Health Podcast. My name is Jeffrey Burke and I'm so glad you're here. What I do every time I do a podcast is I bring you information, education, amazing minds in the industry, incredible talents that need to be called out. And I think it's really important that we celebrate, and I'm going to be doing this every month. I'm going to pick a retailer of the month. Now, this could be an individual mom and pop store. It could be a small chain of 2 or 3. It could be a larger chain, but it's going to be someone, some group that actually brings something to us, the consumer, and they're doing it right. And we want to make sure that they are celebrated for that. So coming up now in July, my retailer of the month is going to be Fruitful Yield. Now, I've been very blessed. I've had a lot of time to work with this group. I've done many of their events. I've done in-store trainings. I've visited the stores. I've done online trainings with their staff because training is really, really important to them, which I love. And I'm really happy and blessed today to have Joe Fulco with me. I got to give you a little background. You're going to love this. Joe was born and raised in the suburb outside of Chicago, started his retail career for his family small business at the age of 9. He has been in the retail sector for over 40 years, and the last 16 years of his career has been in the health and wellness industry, where he was regional vice president for the Vitamin Shop Midwest. And for the past 9 years, he's been the president of Fruitful Yield health food stores in the Chicagoland area. Joe feels that one of the most amazing things about being in retail is the opportunity to connect with your customers. Through effective communication, you can have the opportunity to build trust. When you build trust, you have the opportunity to build a relationship with your customers. At a very young age from his father, he was always taught that your word is your business card. So help me welcome my guest. Hey, Joe.
Hey, how are you doing, Doc?
I'm doing
Great to see you.
fantastic. Oh, it's so
Thank
great
you.
to have you here. I've had
I'm
the
honored.
pleasure of working with you guys. I've seen your stores. I've been able to experience your staff. They are incredibly knowledgeable and very passionate about education. I've done online trainings with you, and I was at the ABS show last year where it was a new thing for you, the American Beauty Show. You guys set up a brand new room there just for nutritional supplements in that industry. And I've done your REC shows. I've done a lot with you guys, and I just have such great respect for your stores and your industry and your amazing management, your employees, your staff. So you guys are my July Retailer of the Year. Congratulations.
Oh, we are super honored, Jeff, and I'm honored to be here today. Our relationship has been built over the years,
Yes, sir.
and the one thing that I truly appreciate the most is our common bond and our common goal for this industry, and it's what drives us every day here at Fruitful Yield.
Let me ask you a question. People are always wondering what they can do, to be more successful in our industry. Stores are popping up. Maybe they're hitting a roadblock a little bit. What are some things that you think have been crucial for your
Yeah.
chain and your stores that have really kind of, kept you here and kept you visible and kept you popular with your customers?
Sure. The biggest thing, and it sounds cliche, but the biggest thing is people.
Mhm.
Do you have the right people that fit the environment that of your store or stores or business? And then you build your strategy around your people. And what we did here over the past 9 years was that we continued to uh, put our people in a position to win. And what do I mean by that? Well, we gave them tools, training tools to use to have more confidence in themselves when they speak to a customer. That confidence, and when you elude that confidence, that really brings it forefront to the customer.
Mhm.
The customer then has a willingness to connect and to begin to trust. And every business has opportunities with people. And
Mhm.
and one of the things I say that isn't always popular but is true is that you have to be um, true to yourself and true to your business to make sure that you truly have the right people in front of the customer.
God,
And if you don't, then maybe you need to find the best avenue for that person to help them be successful on your team. But it really comes down to something as simple as your people.
I love it. And it's so very true. And you can have amazing products, amazing prices, and you could have a place where people have a great selection, but if there's no camaraderie and you don't have that, relationship and communication and a place where people want to go.
Yep.
Because today, a lot of people do things online. They don't have to go in until they have a problem or they have
Correct.
an issue where they need to have a conversation, and they come in and they're like, oh my goodness, I should have just been going here all the time, because I was able to learn so much in just a small conversation that was actually geared just toward me. And I've listened to conversations in your stores because I spent a lot of time there, and I hear how people approach customers, how they respond to them, the respect that they treat them with. And that is something that is all across your stores. And every event I've been to, your people are respectful and fun, and they enjoy life, and they like what they do, and there's a passion. And I got to tell you, you know, I love our industry. I really do. I
No,
mean, I'm 45 years in, and I have to tell you, it's just getting better and better, because when you love something as much as this, you're able to pass that on to the people you get to work with. So, oh, and
absolutely.
your management is awesome.
Thank
They
you.
they they are organized. They keep me organized. They're very, very organized. I can't slack when I'm getting ready to do trainings. They keep me on my heels. But you know what? It's perfect, because the end result is a training where everybody gets to learn, and
Yeah,
you're following the protocols. And to me, I have nothing but respect for that. So let me ask you this: how do you decide on a brand that you're bringing in? How do you decide that they're fruitful yield worthy?
sure. So it is a system in place
Hmm.
that is more than just about sales. So we have a list of not we a list of, I'm going to call it, do not have. So if there are ingredients that do not fit who we are as a company,
Hmm.
even if Spin shows that item to be super popular, we're not going to carry it. And that is decided by our category managers, and then is presented to the Fruitful Yield staff, so we can all understand the reasons why we're not carrying this item, or quite frankly, why we are going to carry an item. And it has really become more of a collaborative effort, Doctor, over the years, where before it was just more uh, driven by a single person with a great deal of knowledge. Now we've done this a little bit more collaboratively, excuse me, and more collected amongst our category managers and our store managers. And what that has done is that's created an energy and a buzz about new items that have come in. It's created a buzz about, hey, can you show me, Joe, the features and benefits of how this item works? And then they're anxious and they're interested in learning about that product, so that when a customer comes in, it's not forced, it's a conversation. Hey, do you have anything new? Is there anything that could help me with uh, you know uh, uh, my breathing, or my head congestion, or whatever? And our associates can then walk customers to the aisle and really have a conversation about what are their unique needs, and then provide recommendations on different things that we have, which have been decided by everybody,
I
which
love
has
it.
been really unique.
Well, and the great thing about it is not any one company today. I literally, over my radio shows over 42 years, probably launched over 200 lines of products over the years.
Wow.
At the very beginning of many of the biggest companies in our industry, I was able to be at the very beginning with them.
Yeah.
So I've seen how companies have progressed. I've seen the ones that have sat back on their laurels. I've seen the ones that have not accepted the science. I've seen the ones that have utilized the science and the studies and the published studies, and they built from that and taken themselves to the next level.
Yeah.
And what's amazing is, like I said, not every one company makes everything. There are great companies in every category. And to be able to go to somewhere where someone can say, like to your point, I need something for chest or head congestion. You could say, well, we've got these 12, 13 different companies. All of them have proven themselves to be very high quality. We've got liquids, we've got soft gels, we've got capsules, we've got powders, we've got sprays. We've got everything. Which one do you think that you would be the best
Yes.
to work with, and what works the best for you? And to offer that, that's a big part of what you guys do. And not just selection, but training and education for the customers, because the
So
staff has been trained.
yes, because what's so neat is when the customer comes back and says, "Hey, you know what? Thank you so much
Yep.
for introducing me to this product. I've told my friends, I told my mom, I told my neighbors, and it really begins to build more of a community within our communities. And that's one of the things that's made Fruitful Yield so successful for almost 60 years is our connections within the community. And as you know, Jeff, we started out kind of quietly, and throughout the years we've been able to become more part of the community. And I'm proud to say over the last 9 years we've really ramped it up in terms of education and telling our customers how much we care, not by telling them that we care, but being prepared to help them learn about product, which then shows our care for them. And it is really a differentiator amongst all the competition we have here in the Chicagoland area. And it's just great to hear people like yourself who get to see all over the country come to one of our shows or our events and say, "Man, look at you're spot on with this. Keep doing that," because then that focuses us to stay the course and to keep our mission going.
Now tell everybody how many stores you have.
We currently have 11 freestanding stores.
Fantastic.
We also have 4 stores within a store. So we have a regional grocer here in the Chicagoland area, Angelo's Caputo's Fresh Market. They reached out to us 5 years ago and asked if we would be interested in putting our supplement sections in their stores. And we've done that. And it's been an excellent little partnership between 2 family brands,
Yep.
family-owned brands, which is fit both of us perfectly. And then we have fruitfulyield.com, which is we service the entire 50 states of the United States.
What I think is really, really, really interesting is how you've been able to continue to grow the service that are in the stores. Because from one year to the next, when I visited the stores, I was happy the first time I went, but then I would come back and I'd say, "Oh my God, they really amped this up a lot." And then I would talk to somebody who had just come on board a couple of months before that, and they had so much knowledge, and I'm like, "How did you get so much knowledge so fast?" And they're like, "We do a lot of training, and I listen a lot, and I like to shadow, and I like to listen to conversations, and I read a lot." And I'm like, "Why do you do that?" And they said, "I want to be good. I want to be the best at what I do, and I don't want to not know something."
Correct.
And I mentioned to one of your employees about a year or so ago, I said, "What do you do if you don't know something?" They said, "Well, what I don't do is pretend like I do." And I said, "Good." And they said, "I asked somebody who has much more experience, and then I listen to the conversation that they have with the customer so that the next time I'm ready for it."
Yep.
And I thought that was the best answer that I've ever heard. So awesome job for that.
Thanks. Even our cashiers, Dr.
Mhm.
Jeffrey, even our cashiers have the same training as those that are on the floor.
Wow.
Because we'd like our cashiers to be up front with confidence that they have knowledge so they don't only feel they're a cashier, because that's not who we are. All of us together are important on our team. And when a customer comes up who usually forgets something and says, "Oh, do you have so-and-so, or can you tell me about this?" Our cashiers are qualified to also provide that knowledge. And that's something that we worked really hard on when we got here.
I've been in the education side. I've owned stores. I've ran chains. I've done everything you can think of in this industry. But for probably over 3 decades, one of my passions is educating, and I love to teach, and I'm completely different than everybody else. I do not go by the book. I deviate, I tell stories, I sidestep. I usually come back to the middle, but I have a tendency, and I'm known for it. I want people to walk away feeling engaged and enlightened and also, educated. So But I was at a store one time many years ago, and this is when I really understood how important education was. And there was a lady in the aisle. I was farther down, and she was talking to an employee about fish oils. And there was like 10 brands of fish oils, and they were all really, really good brands. And the lady asked her about fish oil, and I saw the lady reach over with her hand, and she kind of went over, and then she went back with the bottles, and then she went back, and then she reached a bottle over here, and she gave it to her. She goes, this one is my favorite, and I've had really good training on this one. So that was fine. The lady left, and I said, why did you pick that one? And she goes, that's the only company that has ever trained us on their fish oil.
Wow.
And I said, what about the other ones? And she said, I'm sure they're good. She goes, but I've never had any training on them, so I couldn't talk about them. And I didn't want to get asked a question I didn't know. So I thought that was very, very intelligent of her.
Yes.
But it also let me know that there are companies that weren't doing trainings. And I think education and training in our industry is so vitally important. I think there's a lot of people and a lot of companies that have backed away from training. And I think it's a terrible mistake because there's so much. See, I come from a time, Joe, 45 years ago, where there was no information. We had nothing. We had a couple authors in the field. I was trying to get radio show information together. I was at the library reading research books, everything I could. Today, you have tons of information, but the problem is it's a double-edged sword. It's information at your fingertips, but is any of it true? Can you trust it? Because then you got to research the research. So I think that education is extremely important. And I think that when companies are not utilizing it, I think they may be missing something that we've always known, that being visible, educating, standing behind your lines and your products are the way that you end up in really great chains like Fruitful Yield.
Oh, thanks a million. And the customer will tell you that, not with their words, but with their action. And if you don't have the right training program and the right people to execute that program, the customer will tell you by not coming in. And that's just basic.
I was in your store, and then I was back about 8 months later, and I stopped in one of the stores, and there was a lady there, and I recognized because she had very, very red hair. And so we talked a little bit, and when I came back 8 months later, she was there again, that very, very red hair. And I looked at her and I said, I remember you. And she goes, I remember you. And I said, you're here again. She goes, I'm here every week. And I said, why? She goes, I don't always need something. I always get something, but I want to know what was different this week from last week. And I come here because there's something new. They're going to have it.
Well, awesome.
How about that?
That's awesome. That's awesome. Yeah. Honored that you would say that. Let me tell you.
Now, let's talk a little bit about your employee base.
Sure.
You have a vast amount of age, younger to seasoned, like I love to call myself seasoned.
Me too.
Because I can handle that. Are you looking for a certain person, or are you looking by experience, or what drives you to hire the people you hire?
Sure. So I want you to know that we do not have a certain person, Jeff. The one thing that we look for is, does a person have energy, and does a person like to talk to other people? And if you have an outgoing personality, we could teach you anything. Okay, if you have the want, and we have the tools to give you the skill. And that's what we really focus on, Jeff, because as you know, you've been in millions of stores. It can make or break you without even a word. And we've worked very hard at continuing to look for that person or persons that is not intimidated to learn and to share that information with people. So, when I was a young man, I thought, okay, well, if you worked in this type of environment, you needed to be this type of person. If you worked in this type of environment, you need to be this type of person. And that's true in some industries. But what I've learned in our industry, because it's so much about that connection and that knowledge, that it doesn't matter. I mean, I have young people right out of college that we've hired that are in our management program that have come, Jeff, and you know what they've said? We heard we can learn here. And I'm interested not only in health and wellness, but I have a degree in exercise science, and I have a small business of my own. I'm an LLC, and I want to learn about products so I could tell my clients. And I'm thinking, okay, then guess where those clients hopefully will come
Yep.
back to where this young person works.
Yep.
So we have a wide range, and it has fit us well.
Your community, you're spread around a lot of communities within the Chicagoland area. And, your name is pretty synonymous with the idea of health and nutrition. And, when people think about it, I had a lot of friends that have moved to that live in that area, a lot of people that I know. And I ask every one of them, where they go. They all go to Fruitful Yield. And I always, of course, I'm always double check everything. So why do you go there? Because they have great selection. Okay, what else? Because I can ask questions and get answers. Okay, what else? Because they have the new things, but they also have the older things that have been wonderful that are still wonderful.
Yes.
It's not about the new, bigger, redder, riper all the time. It's all about the quality, no matter where it fell in the transition of the years that the stores have been there. And I have never, ever had somebody say a negative connotation about the store.
Oh, well, that's an honor to hear that from you. Let me tell you, we're not perfect by any means,
Who is?
and we step in it quite a bit. But our goal is to make sure that even if we make a mistake or it's not a magical day, how do we make sure as a group collectively we take care of one another,
Mm-hmm.
and that energy from one another translates towards the customer. And because as you know, Jeff, you can buy Garden of Life at many stores now. Okay. But what makes it different coming in and purchasing that product from us? We hope it's our people and our environment and that knowledge that we expect from our people. And Jeff, I do want to say this. When you asked me, how do you choose your people?
Mm-hmm.
I want you to know the one thing we do not tolerate, and that is if you don't want to learn. Okay, so if you don't want to learn about product, which is extremely important to our business, then we will find something for you to do off stage. Okay, and we've been fortunate with fruitfulyield.com. We've taken some really good people that enjoy the business but don't want to be out front, don't want to learn, and we've put them in opportunities to help us grow the brand behind the scenes. And your rite of passage to be on the sales floor with us is that you got to want to be educated, and you got to want to be able to share that. And it's awesome. I could talk about it for hours, Jeff. It's truly part of who I am, and it's truly a part of who we all are here at Fruitful Yield. And again, it's why we're able to compete in a big market with a lot of big chains. But we're special, and our people take it personal, and that's why we're able to compete. And I'm just so honored, Jeff.
Well, I got to tell you something. I've been to many events where you have tabletops and there's 20, 30, 40, 50 different vendors there from great companies. Now, I've been blessed to know most of these people, so I know many, many of them, what companies they're with. And, people change companies, but
Yeah.
they're with companies that they feel comfortable with. And the last one I was at, I was just chatting with people. I said, what do you think about coming to these shows? And they said, well, some of them are good, some are bad. This is a great one. And I said, why is this a great one? And they said, because it's for the people at the stores, because your REC show, which is your, regional education show, which is fantastic. Yep. And
Thank
all
you.
your people, it's like speed dating. It's wonderful. Everybody comes around to the table. You get to spend time with them. They're all in stores. Many of them are managers.
Right.
They carry the products. They're going to ask you questions that they wanted to know. You can ask them questions. And the people that are there that are representing these companies are like, I love it. Because it's not just for the public. This one is for the people in the stores.
Yep.
And we get to answer questions that they have to do what they do better. And then we get to ask them questions to find out what we can do better.
Yeah.
As a wholesaler, as a company. And I think the great thing about it is everybody's happy to do these because of the fact that everybody walks away with a certain amount of education. It's either
Yeah.
us on the side representing the products or the people that are selling and talking about the products on the floors.
Yeah.
So, for people to want to go there and enjoy going there, you guys are doing something right.
Well, we use the REC Retail Education Conference as a reward for our managers and our assistant managers for being part of our family. You know what this has done, Jeff? This has gotten team leads to say, okay, how do I become an assistant manager? Because I want to go to that REC and
Yeah.
I want to be part of that. And it has gained momentum. We've been doing it for 8 years. This was our 8th year. And Cher and the team continue to just bring it to the next level. And Jeff, you're being modest, but your energy and your commitment to us is what they see as well. And that's why when
Thank
Dr.
you.
Jeff walks in, or Mark, or a few others I could speak of right now, our people are genuinely excited to see them and see you, because you are true to your word and you are
Thank you.
true to our industry. And it means a lot to us as an organization and to our people. And you
Well,
need to be recommended for that.
the show is fantastic because you have lectures in the morning. They get to hear from amazing people. You put on an amazing lunch for them. You're treating them so well. They get to come and do I call it speed dating. I can't think
Yeah.
of anything else. They get to come in and do the route and meet everybody and, see what's new, see what's coming up. And it's like, they've had questions. Can I ask you this? I've always
Yes.
wondered about this line. And I love that because they're fun and we keep it light and everybody's enjoying themselves. It's not like you're being doing something you don't want to do. They want to be there.
Yeah.
And that's
It's been great.
that's fantastic.
Thank you.
So let me ask you another question. Things change in our industry. We've gone through a lot of changes. We've got new delivery systems. We've got new combinations, things that we used to know that we thought were the only way years ago. Obviously, they're obsolete.
Yeah.
There was a time when I used to think that if a probiotic didn't come out of a refrigerator, you wouldn't want to use it. Now we
Right.
have shelf-stable probiotics. I never used to think that I would ever recommend a gummy of any kind. And now we've got technology that allows gummies to be there, not for the people like us that may take tablets and capsules, but for people that may not take anything else. So
Right.
it's opened a door.
Yes, sir.
Do you think you guys embrace technology?
And the reason I pause is because it's been a journey.
Mm-hmm.
At first, no. But through the years, as our education has improved and we have been able to learn more ourselves,
Mm-hmm.
we have been able to then bring to the teams um, the information and the proof
There we go.
that is needed, that this is the right thing to do for our customer. And then we back it up with people like yourself, Jeff, and our other partners to come in, and they support exactly what we went out and found, so that there's no miscommunication or no double speak. We're both speaking the same language. We're both walking in the same direction. And when we do that, Jeff, you get the energy that you see at our REC. You get the energy you see when you walk into the store and they see you, because they know you're legit and they know that what you're doing there for the day is to help them.
And I think that is exactly the answer I was waiting for. Because it's easy just to put something on a shelf because you've read it in a magazine or you've heard about it or you see it flying off the shelf anywhere. But if you don't believe in it
Yep.
and the science has not convinced you and your team is not on board because they're like, I don't think this is a fit for us, or this
Right?
is a fit for us. And having that collaboration and that like minds thinking together to get that end result, there's a huge part of your success.
Yeah. Thanks. It's
Mhm.
it's 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 been cultivated for years. We're cultivating it even more. Uh, I'd like to say that we've taken a wonderful brand by a wonderful leader, and under my tenure, we've just amped it up a few notches in terms of urgency, and and I'm really proud of it, Jeff. And there's a lot more we can do, and we're looking to do more down the road. Um, and during COVID, people would say,
Oh,
retail's dead. And I'd be like, everybody just needs to slow their roll.
Yep.
Because it's not dead. Right now, people are just a little nervous. Okay.
Yep.
But when things were really bad, Jeff, our people didn't waver. And we had customers coming in that never even walked in our door, but were so concerned and wanted to learn that we were able to provide that service. And after it was over, and a lot of malls and things were dried up, people were like, well, then everybody's just going to go online now. Guess what? No,
Mm-mm.
that
Mm-mm.
hasn't been the case. And
No.
people need people, Jeff. And I know that sounds so simple, but it's so true. And we've seen it over the past 4 years bouncing out of COVID that we have gained an immense amount of trust in our communities with our customers. And we have now have new customers coming in because they heard of us from their friends or their families. And they wanted to see, and they want to see what it is we're doing. And is it what they've heard from their family and friends? And that people connection is just so important. And I know I'm talking a lot here, but
No, I want you to.
when you go into the big brands and they have just aisles of things, there's nobody there to help them. And what makes our industry so special and so unique, Jeff, is we may not be the biggest, but we use our resources strategically. And to use those resources to make sure if you come in and you want to know about something, we're going to be ready for you. And I may lose you to big box to go because you're over there, but I'm going to say 7 out of 10 times you're back because you like Joe or you like Jeff or you like Susie, and that connection is priceless.
I have to say that the one thing that I think the pandemic did for a lot of people is it brought a lot of, to your point, a lot of really amazing people to the stores that may never have come in. Were they driven by fear and confusion? Absolutely. Were people frustrated and flustered and not knowing where to turn? Yeah. Did they get the availability of being able to talk to people in your stores and get knowledge and get clarity in many of these crazy things that were being talked about? Yes, they did. And that made them want to stay. Now, did some people do things online? Yes. But they got no answers to their questions. So all of a sudden they were coming in. So I want to say something, and I've been saying this for the last couple of years. Thank you for being open and being there for the people during the pandemic, because there were parts of the country where they shut the health food stores down. And they were not allowed to be open during the pandemic. It was very rough out here in Las Vegas. They closed a lot of the stores out here if you didn't have any kind of food.
Right.
So I want to say thank you, because you guys stepped up to the plate. They did masking. They did car side delivery. They did deliveries in general. They did mail orders. They did everything they could do to make their customers feel comfortable and safe and healthy. And that level of respect that happened during the pandemic, a terrible, terrible time that I think will be bouncing back in many areas of our country for a long time. This is an area where people were able to see and feel and get a difference, because everybody wants to get healthy, be healthy, and stay healthy. And that was the time when we were grasping for straws, and confusion and fear was very, very strong. So thank you for being open during that.
Our pleasure. And I could go on and on, Jeff, about our 200 associates who didn't waver. And I know some were worried, Jeff.
I bet.
But if they were scheduled, they came in. And we never had to close the store due to not having enough associates on hand. And I couldn't be more proud of them. To this day, I still talk about that. And Jeff, that's when I really felt we have really worked at coming together and really working for a common goal, which is taking care of each other as a family and then taking care of our customer.
Now, your website, if people want to pull up and learn about you, is fruitfulyield.com.
Yep, www.fruitfulyield.com.
Okay.
And you can learn about our stores. You can learn about our history of our company.
Mhm.
The Richard family still owns our company over 60 years ago. And yeah, everything about who we are and where we're located is on our website.
Okay, so do something for me. Um, Leave me with a thought of the day, and you could leave it for anybody. It can be on anything you like, something on the tip of your tongue, on your mind that people remember you by, and something that means something to you.
Oh boy. Yep. Thought of the day from Joe Fulco to your listeners
Thank you.
is take care of one another. Be kind to one another, respect one another, and know that everybody's trying their best. And those that may not look happy or be happy or are extremely happy are all going through something.
Yeah.
And it takes all of us together to make a difference.
Yeah, fantastic. My guest today, Joe Fulco, thank you for being here. What an
I'm honored.
absolute pleasure. Fruitful Yield, my July retailer of the month for 2024. They are so awesome. And if you do live in the Chicagoland area, you need to be hitting these stores up and going in there and seeing everything that we talked about today. I want to thank you all for tuning in today. It's always a pleasure to have you here. Make sure you drag your friends here, your enemies, and everybody to tune in. Easy thing to do is go to my webpage, drjeffreyburke.com, click and save my icon to the home page. Then once you click on it, all you have to do is tap on the Honest Health logo and it'll take you to Spotify, or click on the YouTube logo and it'll take you to the YouTube channel and you can watch our gorgeous faces conversing back and forth. But one way or another, please subscribe. And I don't know, this is new to me. I've been on radio for 42 years. So if there's buttons to click, click them all. And take the time to show up. I'm going to keep it very engaging, fun people, great guests, and always a message that you'll take away from every show. Everybody have a great day. Take care of yourself, and God bless.
Stay tuned for more information from the Honest Health Podcast with Jeffrey Burke. And make sure to check back often for interviews and conversations from the guests we all want to hear from. I'm John the Announcer. Thanks for listening.